Good evening and welcome to Spectrum Television News at 9. I am Uyai Anyekan, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the major stories. President Tinubu departs Abuja for COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai. JAM releases dates for 2024 UTME. Plus, Israel-Hamas seek new deal to extend Gaza truce on final day. Details of these stories and more in a moment. Good evening and thanks for joining us. First in the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu today departed Abuja, Nigeria for Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, where he is expected to attend the COP28 Climate Summit. Reports say during the summit scheduled for December 1st and 2nd, 2023, Tinubu would deliver an address highlighting Nigeria's stance on various thematic issues, including renewable energy and climate financing. A statement issued by Tinubu's special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, said the president will be accompanied by senior government officials. Meanwhile, the president departed the country a few hours after presenting the 2024 annual budget to the joint session of the National Assembly. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has said that the federal government will explore public-private partnership (PPP) to finance critical infrastructure listed in the 2024 budget estimates of 27.5 trillion naira. Tinubu said this while addressing a joint session of the National Assembly in Abuja during the presentation of the 2024 federal budget proposal. The president said a conservative oil price benchmark of $77.96 per barrel and the daily oil production estimated 1.78 million barrels per day were adopted after a careful review of global oil market trends, and a naira to US dollar exchange rate of 750 naira per US dollar was adopted for 2024 as well. Given a breakdown of the 2024 appropriation bill, the president added that an aggregate expenditure of 27.5 trillion naira is proposed for the federal government in 2024, of which the non-debt recurrent expenditure is 9.92 trillion naira, while debt service is projected to be 8.25 trillion naira and capital expenditure is 8.7 trillion naira.
It is my honor to be here today to present my administration's 2024 budget proposal to this joint session of the 10th National Assembly. This moment is especially profound and significant to me because it is my first annual budget presentation to the National Assembly. Distinguished senators and honorable members of the National Assembly, I commend your swift consideration and passage of the 2023 Supplementary Appropriation Bill and the 2024 to 2026 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Physical Strategy paper. Your prompt action underscores your devotion to economic development and to the greater welfare of our people. It also highlights your desire to work in close collaboration with the executive branch. We do not serve ourselves. I appreciate you. We must always strive to work together to serve and benefit the people of our beloved country. Our physical strategy, FSP, sets out the parameters for the 2024 budget after a careful review of development in the world oil market and domestic conditions. We have adopted a conservative oil price benchmark of $77.96 per barrel and daily oil production estimate of 1.78 million barrels per day. We have also adopted a Naira to US dollar exchange rate of 7.50 per US dollar for 2024. Accordingly, an aggregate expenditure of 27.5 trillion naira is proposed for the federal government.
In a related development, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio has declared that the National Assembly is determined to ensure an effective working relationship with the Bola Tinubu presidency towards delivering on people-focused developmental goals. Recall that President Bola Tinubu was at the National Assembly to present the 2024 national budget proposals before a combined sitting of the two legislative chambers today. Senator Akpabio outlined the 10th National Assembly's aligned objectives centered on nation building, economic growth and social development, and emphasized the need to diversify the economy, prioritize education, curb brain drain, and reduce the nation's high debt profile in tune with the president's priorities. Meanwhile, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio has stated that the National Assembly will collaborate with the Nigerian Society of Engineers (NSE) to develop beneficial legislation that will accelerate the manufacturing sector. Akpabio made this known at the opening ceremony of the 2023 National Engineering Conference in Abuja. The Senate President, while stressing on the theme of the conference, re-engineering the manufacturing sector for competitiveness and enhanced economic growth, said infrastructure development is the backbone of any successful manufacturing industry, but it required good and friendly legislation and regulations to drive growth. Moving now to the Green Chambers, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has also called for synergy between the government and the professional engineers in the country toward massive infrastructure development. Abbas said this at the 2023 Nigerian Society of Engineers NSE National Engineering Conference Exhibition and Annual General Meeting in Abuja. Abbas, represented by the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, said that collaboration is significant in the pursuit of sustainable growth and development. The Speaker added that the theme of the event aligned with national goals, which emphasized the vital role of engineering in shaping the future. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Committee on University Education has promised to work towards ending recurring strikes in the universities of the country. The chairman of the committee, Abubakar Fulata, said this at a meeting with the executive secretary of the National University Commission and vice chancellors of federal universities in Nigeria. He said the House leadership had created 6 committees out of the previous 2 for quality oversight. Fulata noted that the committee was working toward ensuring quality, reliable, easy and access and rewarding university education. According to him, the challenges required collective efforts to address, including the intervention of the committee and the contributions of all well-meaning Nigerians. Away from that, the federal government has pledged to improve the conditions of the orientation camps operated by the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) nationwide. Minister of State for Youth Development Ayodele Olawande gave the assurance during an unscheduled visit to the NYSC orientation camp in Yikbata, Kwara State. In a statement by the head of press and public relations, FMYD Mariam Omar Yusuf, today in Abuja, Olawande bemoaned the deplorable condition, of some NYSC camps nationwide, pledging to engage with all relevant authorities to transform the Kwara State orientation camp and others nationwide He apologized to corps members over the deplorable condition of their accounts, describing it as an unacceptable situation that must be looked into by all relevant stakeholders. The minister thanked the corps members for their resilience, pledging that the President Bola Tinubu administration will not fail them. Meanwhile, the federal government has said its Renewed Hope Shelter program will provide 1 million low-cost housing units for the vulnerable population within 7 years. The national program manager, Renewed Hope Shelter for the Poor, IDP and Refugees, Chidinma Mokwachukwu, stated this at the 6th Nigeria Affordable Housing Finance and Innovation Summit, NAHIS Expo 2023 in Abuja. Makochukwu said the federal government would collaborate with state and local governments to ensure and secure the lands for the houses. She added that the project will be moved to all the states in Nigeria by 2024. In the meantime, the federal government, through the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, has assured foreign investors of low production costs in the country's mining sector. Speaking at the Mines and Money Conference in London, Alake said President Bola Tinubu has embarked on reforms to boost investment by streamlining procedures and reducing hurdles to attract foreign investors. According to a statement by the minister's aide Kehinde Bamigbeton, Alake said the country's geological bounty encompasses over 44 distinct mineral types found in exploitable quantities across more than 500 locations. He added that by adding value to the country's raw materials, the ministry not only creates higher value products but also generates employment opportunities for Nigeria teeming youth and increase the sector's overall profitability and contribution to the nation's GDP. In a separate development, the Minister of Youth Development, Dr. Jamila Ibrahim, has urged youth in the creative sector to be intentional about their content. She made the call in Abuja during the opening of the two-day 2023 Gender and Inclusion Summit organized by the Policy Innovation Center, PIC. According to her, the creative sector has a massive role in shaping the youth's agenda, especially with the kind of content they put out. Dr. Ibrahim noted that Nigerian youths have had to combat the high rate of unemployment and ineligibility to thrive, which is corroborated by the Japa movement and brain drain syndrome. From the judiciary now, where the Supreme Court has today ordered that the old 200 naira, 500 naira and 1000 naira notes should continue to coexist with the new notes till further notice. The Apex Court ruled that both old and new notes should continue to remain legal tender until the federal government puts a process in place for its replacement or redesign after due consultation with relevant stakeholders. Recall that in mid-November, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, had said the old notes would remain legal tender indefinitely. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Lagos State has delivered a certificate of return to Rauf Agbe Suleiman, APC candidate who was pronounced the genuine winner of the March 18 Omo Odofin Constituency 2 House of Assembly election by the Court of Appeal. INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner Reg Professor Ayobami Salami, while presenting the certificate today, asked Agbe Suleiman to give his quota to the growth of his constituency and Nigeria as a whole. Salami congratulated the congressman and prayed to God to provide him wisdom to do what is right. In education, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) has said the registration for its 2024 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) begins on January 15, 2024 and ends on February 16, 2024. Similarly, the board in a statement today said it fixed March 7, 2024 for its mock UTME, while the main UTME will be held from April 19 to 29, 2024. In the statement released by its spokesman Fabian Benjamin, the board explained that the dates were fixed based on the series of recommendations emanating from a two-day information technology and management retreat held between the 26th and 28th of November 2023. According to JAM, candidates are expected to print their examination slips from the 10th of April 2024. In politics, the leadership of the new Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) and the Kano State Police Command have disagreed over the killing of a teenager by an erring police officer. While the NNPP claimed the teenager was killed by the police officer during a peaceful protest in the state, the police said the teenager's death was not in connection with the protest. A statement credited to NNPP's acting national Suleiman Abba Kawu Ali today, however, condemned the brutal killing of the teenager and called for an investigation into the circumstances that led to his death. In a swift reaction, the spokesperson of the Kano Police Command, SP Abdullahi Haruna, kicked against the claims by the NNPP's acting chairman, Ali. Meanwhile, available information has it that the incident leading to the death of the teenager player was said to have occurred when the police officer was attempting to disperse rivalry groups in a clash in the corner area of the state. On security, the Nigerian Navy ship NNS Beecroft today handed over 187 bags of cannabis sativa to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) in a display of inter-agency collaboration. The commander of the ship, Commodore Kolawole Oguntuga, handed over the substance to officials of the NDLEA at NNS Beecroft, Apapa, Lagos. Oguntuga said that the principle of burden sharing toward curbing crime and criminality in the maritime environment was a key priority of Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala. He added that the substances were confiscated from Badagry Creek and Eleko Beach in Lekki. Oguntuga assured Nigerians that the Navy would continue to go after the perpetrators of these crimes and prevent illicit substances from coming into the country. In another development, the Nigerian Defense Academy (NDA) conducted its matriculation ceremony in Kaduna, formally welcoming 441 cadets into the 75th regular course. The event featured an oath-taking ceremony as the cadets were officially inducted into their respective academic programs. In his opening remarks, the commandant of the academy, Major General John Ochai, said out of staggering 30,000 applicants, only 441 cadets, including one from the Gambia, secured admission. General Ochai detailed the distribution of cadets across various facilities, which includes 138 in arts and social sciences, 118 in science, 37 in engineering and technology, 55 in management sciences, and 91 in military science and interdisciplinary studies. While instilling a sense of responsibility, the commandant encouraged the cadets to uphold discipline throughout their training. He emphasized that the academy's training aimed to equip them for national defense and to discharge constitutional duties professionally. Away from that, Niger State Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago has signed an executive order to ensure effective implementation of the green economy policy in the state. The executive order, which was cited as the Niger State Green Economy Initiative Order Number 3, 2023, orders that the Green Economy Initiative shall be driven by the state's blueprint that details the strategic pillars and outline the strategic key performance indicators, targets and timeliness of the transition into green economy, According to the order, the Niger State government shall produce a statewide land use and economic development plan to guide investment decisions and ensure investments that would stabilize the green transition is properly coordinated and planned. It also directed all the ministries, departments, and agencies of the state to adhere strictly to the initiative, adding that appropriate sanction will be imposed on any violator. Bago, who signed the order before the commencement of the weekly State Executive Council SET meeting at the Council Chambers Government House, Mina, appreciated media practitioners for the wide coverage given to his administration and encouraged them not to relent. In a separate development, the governor of Bayelsa State, Doyo Diri, today presented the 2024 appropriation bill of 480.993 billion naira, christened Budget of Sustainable and Shared Prosperity, to the House of Assembly for considerable. Reports say the 2024 fiscal year's estimates are 41.722 billion naira, higher than the approved 2023 budget of 439.271 billion naira, currently under implementation by the state government. He lamented that the greatest challenge in the course of implementation of the 2023 budget is the high inflation rate in the country, noting that current report from the National Bureau of Statistics indicated that food inflation was about 31.5%, while inflation hovered around 27%. Diri, however, said a general analysis of the budget performance as of September 2023 showed that his administration had achieved an overall performance of 73%, where both the recurrent and capital expenditures got due attention. We move now to Yobe, where the State House of Assembly has given accelerated consideration to a bill seeking to amend the law that established the state university. The bill, which was presented by the executive arm of government, has scaled through second reading on the floor of the House after extensive deliberations by the members leading the debate on the bill. The majority leader of the House, Nasiru Hassan Yusuf, said the bill, when amended, would reduce the tenure of the Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Bursar, and Chief Librarian of the university from 2 terms of 4 years to a single term of 5 years. The majority leader, who spoke at length on the importance of the amendment, also said it will enable the university to conform with international best standards. Still to come in the news. POS agents plead for streamlined tax payment system. Stay tuned for details of this and more after this timeout.
Christmas season is here again. Are you aware that making your business or products visible on the television space gives your brand a wider visibility and patronage? In the spirit of the season, Spectrum Television is offering a whopping 25% discount on all services. Advertise your products and services while this offer lasts from 1st December 2023 to January 31st, 2024. We are a television with a passion to take your business and services on a satisfactory lane. You do not want to miss this opportunity. For more inquiries, visit our city office at number 2 Taft Plaza Close off Akaitinen Road, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, or call the following numbers on your screen. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon. For premium broadcasts and entertainment, sports on the go, and news from the world, watch Spectrum TV on StarTimes DTH channel 421 and free-to-air frequency 12733. Visit our website SpectrumTVLive.ng. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon. country.
Thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of the news stories. In Africa, Kenya's parliament has banned the wearing of unique suits named after the late Zambian president Kenneth Kaunda within the building. The Speaker of Parliament, Moses Wetangula, said Kaunda suits as well as traditional African clothes were not welcome. Wetangula said his decision to ban the suit was due to emerging fashion trends that threaten the established parliamentary dress code. Reports say Kenyan President William Ruto often wears the suit on official occasions, making it popular within the political class. Still in Africa, the United Nations has said it is appalled by the killing of dozens of civilians by Islamist gunmen in northern Burkina Faso on Sunday. It said a large number of fighters from a group known as JNIM had attacked the military base, homes and camps for displaced people in the city of Djibo, killing at least 40 civilians. Earlier, the army confirmed that several hundred armed men had tried to penetrate its military base there. Burkina Faso is battling a jihadist insurgency that spilled over from neighboring Mali in 2015. The country is ruled by a transitional government put in place following a military coup last year. Meanwhile, one person has been killed at an election rally for Democratic Republic of Congo opposition leader Moise Katumbi. According to officials, the death occurred as Katumbi's envoy was heading to the rally venue in the southeastern city of Kindu, Have Dekiesi. Spokesman of Katumbi's Ensemble party said live bullets were fired at the rally and that stones were thrown. Meanwhile, the fatality is the first of the presidential campaign, which began 9 days ago and will last for a month. The elections will take place on the 20th of December. On the foreign scene, Israel and Hamas were negotiating through mediators today over another potential extension of the Gaza truce, with hours left to reach a deal before fighting was due to restart after a 6-day pause. Families of Israeli hostages were informed today of the names of those due to be released later in the day. Israel's public broadcaster Khan reported the final group to be freed under the truce unless negotiators succeed in extending it. Gaza's Hamas rulers published a list of 15 women and 15 teenagers to be released from Israeli jails in return. For the first time since the truce began, it included Palestinian citizens of Israel as well as residents of occupied territory. Still on the foreign scene, the Director General of the World Health Organization (WHO), Tedros Ghebreyesus, has said that overcrowding and lack of food, water, sanitation and basic hygiene are hastening spread of disease in Gaza. Ghebreyesus said the lack of functioning infrastructure or access to medicine had resulted in a growing number of infections among the approximately 1.3 million people displaced in Gaza. According to Ghebreyesus, 110,000 people have acute respiratory infections, more than 70,000 have some level of diarrhea, and thousands are plagued by other diseases including scabies, lice, skin rashes, impetigo, chickenpox and jaundice. He called for a continued ceasefire and warned that the current conditions in the strip highlighted the risk of disease outbreaks. Meanwhile, a special tribunal has acquitted French Justice Minister Eric Dupond-Moretti in a conflict of interest in a case that has embarrassed President Emmanuel Macron's government. Eric Dupond-Moretti, a pugnacious former star defense lawyer, was in 2021 charged with the misusing of position to settle scores with opponents from his legal career. Reports say he was the first sitting French Justice Minister to stand trial. He was tried by the Court of Justice of the Republic, CJR, whose sole remit is to judge incumbents or former ministers for offences committed while in office. Dupond-Moretti has stirred controversy as a minister, including for allegedly sexist remarks towards women reporters and for an offensive hand gesture during a parliamentary debate. In the meantime, France charged 2 people with justifying a crime against humanity over Nazi swastikas that were spray-painted in northwestern Paris. Reports say the 2 were part of a group of 13 people who were detained on Saturday. The suspects, who are in their 20s and early 30s, have been described as a mixture of ultra-right activists and hooligans. Meanwhile, France is on alert after the killing of a teenager this month inflamed political tension in the country, with the hard right describing the assault as anti-white racism. According to the Public Prosecutor's Office, 7 of the suspects have been known to the authorities as ultra-right activities, and another 3 have already been involved in similar acts in the past. Elsewhere, Ukraine said it believed Russia had poisoned the wife of its military intelligence chief in an apparent assassination attempt targeting the heart of Kryv's leadership. Mariana Bonova, who is an advisor to Kryv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko, was hospitalized after a prolonged deterioration in her health, according to Ukrainian military intelligence spokesman Andrei Yusov. Ukrainian investigators' main hypothesis is that Russia was involved in the poisoning attempt. Meanwhile, there were no immediate comments from Russian authorities. Yusov and mercury and arsenic, highly toxic substances, were used in the attack. Still on the foreign scene, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken today said he would push for the extension of the temporary ceasefire in Gaza during his upcoming visit to Israel. Blinken's comments came as the Israel-Hamas truce entered its 6th and last day under the current agreement. Meanwhile, a U.S. military aircraft with 8 personnel on board has crashed off Yakushima Island in Japan. Japan's Coast Guard told newsmen that rescue workers have found the passenger, who was not breathing. Officials noted that the remains of the plane have likely been found off Yakushima. Reports say the CV-22 Osprey was trying to land at Yakushima Airport while its left engine was on fire. The aircraft was thought to be heading from Iwakuni Base in the Yamaguchi region to the Kaida Base in Okinawa. And now it's time for the latest business and stock market stories. Here is Blessing Dixon.
Thank you, Yaya Nakan. Good evening, it's Business News and I am Blessing Dixon. In the news, in Nigeria, point-of-sale POS agents in Cross River State have appealed to the government to streamline the tax payment system in the state to make it easier for them to comply. The chairman of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria, John Ilobo, made the appeal at a meeting with officials of the State Internal Revenue Service, IRS, last week. There were reports that officials of the IRS were clamping down on POS agents. Elobo said there was a need for a harmonized payment platform suggesting either monthly or annual payment by his members rather than daily charges. He frowned at the imposition of compulsory payment of 100 naira daily rate by revenue authorities on his members. Away from that, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has issued a fresh directive to all banks and Nigerians regarding accepting old and redesigned Naira notes. CBN issued the directive today in a statement by its Acting Director of Corporate Communications, Mrs. Sidi Hakama. The bank emphasized that all banknotes, including old and redesigned ones, remain a legal tender. The Apex Bank's directive comes at the Supreme Court granted the prayers of the federal government to lift the December 31st extension deadline for the users of 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes. Reacting to the Apex Court ruling, the CBN asked all its branches to continue to issue and accept all denominations of Nigerian notes. Still in Nigeria, the controversy surrounding the diversion of an Abuja-bound United Nigeria Airlines UNA flight to Sabah has taken another dimension as the airline has suspended its flight dispatcher. The head of corporate communications at United Nigeria Airlines, Achilles Chud Uchebu, confirmed the suspension today. He said the suspension was not an indictment but an action to enable investigation and that the suspension order will remain in place until the ongoing investigation is concluded. Meanwhile, on Sunday, passengers expressed displeasure as a flight headed to Abuja landed in Asaba. Consequently, the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority suspended the wet lease of UNA and commenced an investigation into the incident. It's time for the Nigerian stock market report. Today is the midday trading of the week and a total of 360.6 million shares in 6,579 deals corresponding to a market value of 6.61 billion naira were traded. Compared with yesterday's trading, today's data shows a 33% decline in volume, 18% improvement in turnover, and 19% decline in deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 39 trillion naira. 120 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 21 gainers and 39 losers. Seplat Petroleum Development Corporation led the gainers with a 10% share price appreciation, closing at 2,310 naira and 10 kobo per share. For the losers, Guinea Insurance came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 10% at 27 kobo per share. Guaranteed Trust Holding recorded the highest volume of 56.9 million traded shares. This is all in business news, and back to Uyaya Nyaken for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Blessing Dixon. Still to come in the news. Kenya to host beach volleyball qualifiers for Paris Olympics African Games. Stay with us for details of this and more after this timeout.
Every day marks a day of significance.
That in view of the apology tendered by this former minister who had earlier been cleared by this August Assembly,
as we face critical issues, developments and events which shape our social and political landscape here in Nigeria and beyond. Political Spectrum is a program specially designed to help make sense of all the moving parts of developments and occurrences in our nation's polity and political economy.
There is nothing wrong with Nigeria, but there's everything wrong.
The educational history of public figures holds significance beyond mere biographical details.
From executive, legislative and judicial developments at national and subnational levels to international diplomacy and relations.
Join us for exclusive interviews with key political figures, expert opinions, analysts, thought-provoking conversations for and against, shedding light on the major issues that matter. We will always keep you updated on the most factual, smartest and unbiased reportage.
Stay tuned to Political Spectrum. Political Spectrum. All sides matter at the round table. Political Spectrum. Exclusive to Spectrum Television.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of the news stories. On our health news, our state government no fewer than children have been vaccinated during the 2023 measles campaign across the 16 local government areas of the state. The Executive Secretary, Kwara State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Nisurat Elelu, disclosed this in Ilorin during the 40th Media Parliament of the Nigeria Union of Journalists. Elelu, who spoke on the theme Transforming Primary Health Care Beyond Lip Service, said the vaccination effort had helped to build the children's immune system to combat measles. Elelu added that the state leading its peers in the north-central geopolitical zone. Still in health, the United Nations has said it is still possible to end the AIDS surge by 2030. This, the United Nations said, can be achieved only if communities and services on the ground are given the means. The UNAIDS agency said in its annual World AIDS Day report that community-led responses are unrecognized, under-resourced, and in some places under attack. The agency said programs delivered by frontline community-based organizations need full support from government and donors to end the AIDS pandemic. Moving on to Isaac for the latest sports stories.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much. Well, in sports, Kenya would host the Zone 5 beach volleyball qualifiers for next year's Olympic Games in Paris and the African Games in Accra, Ghana on December 20 to 23rd. In a letter, the Confederation of African Volleyball President Ferdinand Ruterana said the decision was reached unanimously during the recent Zonal Club Championships in Kigali, Rwanda. The last edition of these qualifiers were held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania in 2020, where Kenya and Rwanda women's team qualified to the next stage. The Kenyan team qualified for the Tokyo Games in 2021 after defeating Nigeria 2-1 at the African Continental Cup in Morocco. Well, moving on to basketball stories, the 12 teams that would compete in next year's edition of the Basketball Africa League BAL have finally been confirmed. Burundi's Dynamo Basketball Club secured the last of 3 tickets that were up for grabs, joining Cape Town Tigers, who finished the qualifier unbeaten, and Ugandan champions City Oilers, who captured the first 2 passes into the BAL. The 6 teams, 3 from each of the West and East divisions, and will join 6 others who have automatic qualification. Overall, 5 of the 12 teams confirmed for the BAL 2024 will be making their debut appearance at the competition. They include Dynamo, APR, Bangui Sporting Club, FUS Rabat, and Ali Benghazi. Well, the new season, the BAL will play a record of 48 games across 4 countries: South Africa, Egypt, Senegal, and Rwanda, over 4 months, marking the first BAL games in South Africa and the first time the league will be played in 4 different countries. Well, finally, from the football scene, the video assistant referee who awarded PSG's controversial added time penalty against Newcastle in the Champions League has been removed from duty by UEFA and a game tonight. Polish VAR Tomasz Kwiatkowski sent referee Szymon Marciniak to the pitchside monitor in the 96th minute of last night's match after the ball struck the arm of Tino Livramento, which was judged to be making his body bigger and creating a barrier. Marciniak overturned his decision and gave the penalty to PSG, converted by Kylian Mbappe to end the home side a crucial 1-1 draw, which left qualification for the round of 16 in the French club's control. Well, Kwiatkowski was due to act as VAR in tonight's meeting between Real Sociedad and Salzburg, but the role will now be taken on by German official Marco Fritz. It remains to be seen if Marciniak isn't selected for a game on March Day 6. Well, that's it on sports. My name is Isaac. Back to you, and good evening.
Thank you, Isaac. We're moving on to our entertainment news. Calm Down, the hit song of Nigerian singer Divine Ikubo, popularly known as Rema, has been ranked as the most Shazammed song of 2023 globally. This song made history as the first African song to top the global Shazam year-end list. Calm Down beats Miley Cyrus' Flowers and Lady Gaga's Bloody Mary, which ranked second and third respectively, to achieve the feat. Meanwhile, Calm Down remix featuring Selena Gomez has been ranked number 12 most streamed song in the world on Apple Music in 2023. According to reports, it is ranked number 45 most streamed song of 2023 in the United States on Apple Music. Rema also records the most appearances for an African artist on the 2023 Billboard year-end charts, 34, including artist year-end charts, airplay, albums, and song chart entries. Still on entertainment news, popular singer Inyanya Onoyo Mbok, simply known as Inyanya, has said he believes that marriage is beautiful despite the divorce trend rocking the entertainment industry. He said Nigerians must learn to ignore bad marriages so as not to allow that to becloud their view of judgment. The Kukere crooner spoke in the latest episode of the King's Corner podcast. Meanwhile, popular filmmaker and comedian Ayodeji Richard Makun, popularly known as Ewa Makun, is celebrating 15 years wedding anniversary and 20 years of togetherness with his wife Mabel via his post on Instagram, reminisced about the struggles, beautiful moments, and experiences that have shaped their love life. Lastly, in the news tonight, Grammy-nominated Afrobeat singer Seun Kuti has asserted that Lagos is white man's land. He said, contrary to the recent trend of various Nigerian ethnic groups claiming ownership of Lagos, the actual owners are foreigners who own the majority of the city's real estate and wealth. The late Afrobeat pioneer Fela Kuti's son lamented that the economy of Lagos and Nigerians in general was being controlled by foreigners. And that's all we have for you tonight. Do well to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTVLive.ng. This has been Spectrum Television News at 9. Thanks for being a part of this. My name is Uyai Anyek, and good night, and do have a splendid night rest. Good night, Nigeria.